Good morning, everyone. It's Pastor Jonathan, and I hope that this message finds you well. I'm a little nervous today, I gotta be honest. I want to share with you a passage out of Revelation. And I know that this book has a lot of scary imagery in it, and that it's been used by the church to do some not so great things, like invoke fear or try to predict things that should remain unpredictable, or even manipulate others into a relationship with Jesus Christ. But I also want to present it to you today as a message of encouragement, one of hope, and by reminding us of the God that we serve. So I'm going to be in Revelation chapter 1, and we're going to start with verse 12. Hear the word of the Lord. Then I turned to see whose voice it is that spoke to me. And on turning, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And in the midst of the lampstands, I saw one like the Son of Man, clothed with a long robe and with a golden sash across his chest. His head and his hair were white as white wool, white as snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze, refined as in a furnace. And his voice was like the sound of many waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars. And from his mouth came a sharp 2-edged sword, and his face was like the sun shining with full force. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. But he placed his right hand on me, saying, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last, and the living one. I was dead, and see, I am alive forever and ever, and I have the keys of death and of Hades." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So what I want to point out to you is when John sees the Christ, this one who is like the Son of Man, he begins to describe what he's seeing, and they are royal descriptions. Christ has a long robe with a golden sash around his chest. His feet are like burnished bronze. His mouth, his voice is like the sound of many waters. His face is like the sun shining in full force. These are powerful descriptions, and they evoke a sense of authority. But what I want to point your attention to is what Christ is holding in his right hand. Verse 16 says he is holding 7 stars in his right hand. And in those days, the number 7 was more than just the number before 8 and after 6. It was also used to communicate a sense of perfection, a sense of wholeness or completeness. And so when we see the number 7, it doesn't necessarily mean a literal 7 of something. But here, John tells us that the 7 stars represent the 7 messengers of the church, but they can also be seen as 7 stars, symbolizing the completeness and the wholeness, the totality of the universe. And I want to give you that because that's significant, that Christ in his right hand would be holding all of the church's messengers, or the entire universe in the palm of Christ's hand. And what happens after that is John sees all of this, and he falls to the ground as if dead. And that same right hand that was once a symbol of power and might reaches out and is placed on John to comfort, to encourage, to uplift. And he says, "Don't be afraid. I am the first and the last. I have overcome death, and I hold the keys of death and Hades." That's incredible. That's the kind of God that we serve. That in the midst of everything going on around us, that this God who holds all power and all authority in the palm of God's hand would rather use that hand to comfort and encourage and uplift and love. And that is the same God that walks with each of us today through these troubling times. And friends, my practice for you today is simply this: sing the doxology. If you don't remember the doxology, or if you've never heard it, it's going to be attached to this post. But friends, we need to sing it and be reminded of the glory and power of the God that we serve. So sing it at mealtime. It's the easiest way to plug it into your schedule, to bless the food. sing the doxology. If you know it on a musical instrument, go ahead and break that out. Make it as fun as possible. Or you can just sing it a cappella, either by yourself or with a group of people. If you're by yourself and you want someone, call me. I'll sing with you. I don't got a good voice, but I'll sing it. I love singing the doxology. But be reminded, be encouraged. Please stay healthy. I love you. I miss you, and I cannot wait to be with you again. Have a good day.